Thank you for tuning in to Spin It Again, where we talk real music. I'm Kayla Agnos, your host. Welcome back if you listened before, and if you're new here, we're glad to have you. I'd like to welcome today's guest, Sofia Azevedo.
Hi.
And today we're going to be reviewing and giving our honest opinion of K-pop sensation BTS's newest album and comeback, titled Arirang. BTS is the world's largest K-pop group of all time, and they've definitely paved the way for most of the K-pop industry as we know it. The group consists of 7 members. I'm not going to be using their stage names because it makes me cringe, but the members are Namjoon, J-Hope, Jin, Yoongi, Taehyun, Jimin, and Jungkook. They debuted in 2013, making this year their 13th anniversary as a group, which makes me feel insanely old. However, 4 years ago, the group had to take an extended hiatus, splitting up for 4 years to enlist in the military, which is, if you didn't know, required of all Korean male citizens under the age of 30. So now they are finally making their comeback after those 4 long years, and so many people are absolutely overjoyed about this.
Not to mention, with this comeback, they set numerous records with this album just in the first day alone. And just to name a few so you guys can grasp the severity of this band, they sold almost 4 million copies of their album on the first day of release in physical copy, which is, you know, a form of music that's not as popular as it was back in the day, and 4 million copies of their album in one day.
I didn't even know that.
It was crazy.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
They became the most streamed K-pop album in a single day on Spotify.
Wow.
88 countries, which I believe is over 90 now, they were number 1 on iTunes. And in not even in K-pop, but in all of Spotify history, they have the most pre-saves for an album.
Wow.
So
they
this
top
just
Taylor
shows.
Swift then.
That
takes a lot.
Army, they match up. They square up with the Swifties. But they are a loyal fan
The fact
base.
that BTS beat Taylor Swift on the iTunes chart, that's kind of
because
crazy.
they've had the 4 years of
it's
tension.
just
of
like a big...
Army are waiting to like attack what comes out.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
that was definitely me too. Speaking of, BTS's fan base is called ARMY, if you didn't know, which is completely appropriate regarding how absolutely insanely large their fan base is. I looked it up, and apparently there's at least 90 to 130 million.
You can make a country out of that.
Million fans worldwide. Is that more than like the country of South Korea?
That's literally a country population.
I wonder how many people actually inhabit South Korea. Now we're curious. All right, so Sophia actually just looked it up.
In 2024, it was 52 million people.
Oh my lord. So literally there's more BTS fans than the country that they came from.
Which just proves that their fans are not only Koreans, and if anything, they're more
pretty
international.
Insane. Yeah, I personally have been a part of the fan base since around 2020, which I feel like is when everyone got into their new hobbies. Mine was K-pop, and I honestly cannot believe it's been over 6 years since I've been following them as a group. I got to witness so many of their good albums, but I think my favorite that I ever listened to was Map of the Soul 7. I think the most popular songs that people tend to immediately judge them by, as a lot of people probably know, are Butter and Dynamite. And I think those are the worst songs of their whole discography. And I think that's why some people tend to have a more negative outlook on the group as a whole. And honestly, like K-pop, they all base their opinion on, oh, you like BTS?
I was going to say, I first saw BTS online during their Butter era because they were nominated for Grammys, and it was like, you know, you were eventually going to run into them on the internet. And I agree with what you're saying, because that kind of not deterred me, but it didn't really draw me into them as a band. Whereas their solo music is what I really focused on. And I tell people this a lot, that I love BTS as individuals and as a group, but I think their individual works are so tailored to them, but they show the band through their work.
Yeah.
I love Indigo, RM's album, and then V's EP Layover. I love Jimin's work. I think it's like, you can tell it's them. They have their unique style. But recently, especially with this album, I have started listening to them as a band and really getting to see how their voices overlap and how their sound actually changes when they all come together as a group of 7. And this album did that. My favorite BTS song is actually a solo song from Jin, which is Epiphany.
Oh my gosh,
I love
is so good.
I love all the members, but before I like really knew them, Jin wasn't like the first one to stand out to me, but his voice is so emotion like packed.
It's so unique,
beautiful. And he doesn't really get credit for his vocals a lot because he's the visual of the group.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I love that song. It's beautiful.
As for pre-listening expectations for me, I really didn't know what to expect coming into listening to this album because, like I said, like since they've been gone for so long, I was like partially worried that they were gonna forget how to function as a unit, which is kind of a dumb reason to be worried, but I was so pleasantly surprised. I think this album is a really good tribute to who BTS is as a group. The album reminded me a lot of their earlier music, like Too Cool for School, which was actually their debut album, or Oh Are You Late Too, which is also another one of their earlier albums. The songs like Hooligan 2.0 and Please on this album really reminded me of the older stuff, which makes me so happy as an OG fan.
So when I heard this album, I was a little bit hesitant to like it because it's not my style, but they definitely covered a variety of styles throughout the songs.
Yeah, but I'm like really proud of how they were able to still recognize the strong suits in their voices, and they put it to like they used it to their advantage so well. But they were also able to branch out and experiment with new things. One thing I think they did do really well in songs like Please and One More Night, which, by the way, if you guys know the song Just One Day by BTS, One More Night, Just One Day, I'm just tying it all together, guys. Anyway, they were able to layer their voices in the background tracks in such a cool way, making the songs feel more full and give it that depth. And I'm just proud that they still know what works for them, and I applaud them for putting it to use.
I want to stress so much how well everybody worked with each other's voices. I think, we have the group of relatively soft, high note. You have Jimin, Jin, V, and Jungkook, kind of. And then you have the rappers of the group.
For anyone who doesn't know, V is also Taeyoung.
Right, sorry. I keep saying V because I think I'm
okay,
abbreviating it in speech. But, so normally you have that kind of almost 50-50 divide, but the way that they effortlessly switched between a rap Namjoon who has a deep voice and then Jimin who has a very high, almost like a falsetto, just made it didn't even sound wrong. It sounded so effortless. Or when they blended like a trio of just a variety of 3 different members and they just overlapped so well. I loved it. It was so airy.
Yeah, I agree. Like Merry Go Round. Oh, I started listening to that and Ascending. Oh, it was so good.
I need surround sound in my brain.
Oh, me too. I think my favorite song on the album, I really did like Swim as a title track. I think it was a really good title track and it tied together all of the vibes. And I also liked Please, and Merry Go Round was also up there.
I love Merry Go Round.
Yeah, I think they were just all so catchy. And as for Please, it reminds me a lot of my other favorite BTS songs, which my favorite ever is We Are Bulletproof the Eternal. And so I don't know. I just love it. I love the softer songs and it just makes my heart happy to hear.
I agree with the whole liking those airy atmospheric songs with songs like Normal and Like Animals. I think they had if anyone has listened to Hit Me Hard and Soft, The Greatest by Billie Eilish has those drums and like in the rain, just surround sound backing to her amazing vocals. And I think in this song, you had the exact same, like the vocals were blending so well and it was airy, but it still had that pump and oomph to it. It wasn't sad. And I love when you can get that melancholy feeling without being sad. And it felt so effortless the way they blended. I know they've known each other for so long, so it makes sense.
It was still impressive.
It was very impressive, especially with that many people in a group. Mm-hmm. They did a great job.
Yeah. Overall, this album really exceeded my expectations, and I'm super happy about it. I actually have the insane privilege to go see them next month on tour, so I'm very glad that they didn't let me down with the album. I do think if you're a new listener to BTS and you want to give it a try, this is definitely a good one, but I would think you'd be better off listening to something older just to get a feel for how they've always been, even like listening to their solos to get to know them individually as a group. But this comeback is definitely a goodie.
I would agree with that, with the fact that we've been mentioning a lot how BTS branched out with production and vocals and really every aspect of the music with this album, which you wouldn't know if you didn't listen to their prior work. And I definitely think that would give the wrong first impression, because I think you should go to their first impression when they were originally first couple albums, because I don't know, they really had like the heart of BTS really shows when they were these little kids who didn't know how big they were going to get.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love how they've progressed. They're such like wonderful grown men now. They're so respectful, so talented. They've really upheld all of the expectations of their fans and other groups. And I think everybody looks up to them. And they've just proven once again that they are who they are and they will always be BTS. Yes. So I love this album.
I completely agree. I'm just so glad that all the 7 of them are back together. Thank you so much for tuning in to Spin It Again. And thank you, Sophia, for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Kayla.
Join us next time for our next album review.